All right. Now I can't stop. Welcome, everybody, to the July 15th, 2024 Administrative Services Committee meeting. Our first item is approval of the minutes from June 17th.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to accept. Can we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That brings us to the privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the Administrative Services Committee this evening? Seeing none, we will close the privilege of the floor and move on to our first proposed resolution, confirm appointments of acting county executive. I got nervous when I first read this. Then I got over it.
Good afternoon, County Executive Wendell. So what we do is we have a policy in place that if I am not in the area, and this has gone back for several years since I took office, that I would appoint a acting county executive. Had several discussions with Steve Abdella prior to his retirement, and with the advent of cell phones and electronic, we now have exec sign, so any of the contracts I could sign while I'm away. But in the event there's something would have to happen and they need immediate action, we do have Anna Morgan, the county attorney, as the appointee, and John D'Angelo as the backup. So if for some reason Anna and I were both at a conference or out of the area, then John would then be the third acting. So it's just a formality, if you will, but we just want to make sure that has been documented. It does have to be entered in the record.
Very good.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Our next resolution, amend the 2024 budget for various departments.
Good afternoon. Jen Swan, Budget Director.
Thank you.
This is just to amend the 2024 budget for two different things. One is a transfer of ARPA funding into the capital projects for approved ARPA projects that are capital. The second is it's really just a departmental change to align with how the state prefers that we report our interest on our debt services. So that's what the other changes are for.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Pretty much.
None?
None.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank
you, Jen. Okay. Next, we have resolution setting salary for EMS education coordinator. Sorry. Could you just sign also? No, we don't have to pass it.
Noel Gutman, Director of Emergency Services.
Bonnie Peters, Principal Account Clerk, Emergency Services.
Tim Carlson, Senior Paramedic, County EMS.
So what this resolution is to set up a salary for a new EMS education coordinator. So this is a fully funded position in our budget. We had put it in as project coordinator as a placeholder when we did the budget. So it is fully funded, and the guys can explain why we need to have this position filled.
So this position will oversee a lot of our EMS, continuing education, our CME credits. Currently, there's about 300 EMTs and paramedics in the county spread out through the 42 fire departments in our agency that rely on the continuing education to be able to still be a paramedic or an EMT. New York State says you have to to maintain that certification, you have to show CME credits over a course of 3 years. This person will be responsible for overseeing that program and making sure that all those EMTs and paramedics have met the standard and all their paperwork's done on time. And like I said, with approximately 300 people in the county, it's a critical asset. We did have a person that was doing that on a 20-hour-a-week or so basis, and their certification in order to do this has expired, and that person also moved out of the state. So we've been juggling a couple different items to make sure people don't lapse in their certifications, but this position is extremely important to maintain the level of EMS certifications across our county.
So it's gonna be full-time then?
Yes. Yeah, this position really needs to be a full-time position with it'll also have supplemental duties of EMT instruction, CPR instruction. Just the CME project on its whole is really just a really big bear to tackle.
You're not really creating one, though. We did have one before, correct?
Yeah, it was done on a part-time basis.
Okay.
A person oversaw that, just as a sole, 20 hours a week type basis.
Do we have somebody in mind to fill this position?
It'll most likely come from within the ranks of our CCEMS medics right now.
So it does require certain certifications, which Timothy can talk about. So in order to even do this job, you do have to have those certifications.
Thanks,
So,
Bonnie. That was my next question.
oh, sorry. So it will have to be somebody who does have that or is going to be getting it within the next couple months or something. I can't quite remember how we worded all of that, but yeah.
So there are some requirements.
There are.
Yes. Tim, you want to explain what the?
Certified instructor coordinator certification through the state at the paramedic level to be able to endorse recertification, provide training and education in person for all levels of care. Also CPR instructor, ACLS instructor, PALS instructor, ITLS instructor, all of these things that sound like alphabet soup, so we call them alphabet courses, that we are required to carry as advanced providers as well. So this person will really oversee all of the training and education for, county EMS employees and all the volunteers that take advantage of our trainings that we have.
This is a position that will truly reach out to the 42 fire departments in the county.
He'll also be the administrator for our, what's called a course sponsorship, which allows us to provide our basic EMT classes through the Office of Emergency Services. So they will be the administrator to oversee that and make sure that we are compliant with all the state rules and regulations pertaining to that, which is needed.
Sounds like a lot to do.
It is, yes. So part-time doesn't really cut it, and, we've been juggling all of these responsibilities and roles amongst the three of us supervisors, and it's a lot. We get bogged down quite a bit with it, and we're not able to pay attention to things that we should be.
So this person will also teach ACLS or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And, okay, how is it handled now? Do you do that in-house now?
There's other instructors we contract with that have courses
Okay.
through other agencies,
And we have in the past relied on some outside agencies
Yeah.
to do this, to provide this training. But the problem is we have a larger pool of providers.
So many.
We have to give them more options. And, we're at the mercy of their availability, which sometimes doesn't mesh because not all of us have those certifications that expire at the same time. So it's a continual thing.
and those certifications that Tim mentioned are 3 of those are every 2, and one of them's every 3 years. You have to redo them. So it's always to maintain your current level as a medic or an EMT. It's always a continual education, continual education cycle that you're just always into it.
So, it sounds like does it also help economically to do this in-house? Like to make this,
Yes.
create
Yeah.
this position, okay.
Yes, so a couple of different things. So, we've been talking about doing this, bringing this position wholly in-house for quite a while, so it was in our budget already. We put it in last year. But part of it is, as Noel indicated, we had a part-time instructor who, certification expired and moved out of town. But, so in the meantime, we've had contractors because all of it still has to be done. So we've been paying contractors to do this. So really, it needs to come, the need is to bring it back in-house, but it is a financial need as well to bring it
And
in-house.
so it's financially advantageous to do that.
Correct.
Just
Very
'cause
much.
ultimately, the difference in the pay is probably, do you have a sense of what that difference is between the part-time and full-time?
Well, so the part-time to full-time is about, $30,000. But we also, again, have to remember that we have been paying substantially to the outside vendors to cover. So even when the part-time person did have certification, we still had to have somebody supplement it. So we've been outside vendors supplementing even when he did it as a part-time
And-
employee.
When we're doing the courses for our staff, it'll be cheaper to just be the basic cost of the card, which, the American Heart Association sets, which I believe is, now around $15 for a CPR card, which, obviously, we wouldn't charge the full price of a class to
Right,
one of
right.
the employees of
Yeah.
our system. So that will save us there as well.
Do you charge, individual fire departments for the training? If they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Will this help the fire departments greatly to have a more central, organized path for the
Oh, absolutely.
required?
Right now, we had some difficulties in the past, and this is a good opportunity for us to have somebody who is in charge and the point person that people can contact. In the interim, we've developed an email address that goes to a group of us for concerns regarding education and the recertification process. And sometimes it's a bear, right? So it gets confusing to people. Having the point person and an individual who's responsible, who then can disperse it out amongst, other people or
And we talked about,
around us.
it'll have things like set office hours so that the fire departments know that they don't even make an appointment, they can just show up and talk to this person to get their paperwork signed or questions about what they need to do. We wanna make it as user-friendly to the fire departments as we can.
It sounds like it's gonna make it a little more, efficient process too, cause somebody's overlooking certifications.
Yes.
So it's gonna help the chiefs
Yeah.
of all these departments and what the team is that he's working with, get the
Yeah,
accreditation.
the focus over the years, has used to be every 3 years, you just go take another class and recertify and take another test, and they've gone to, the CME-based online learning, which, is really the standard now, so it's really adult education and requirement that you show some initiative to maintain your certification. It's a lot of times sitting in front of a computer, videos and tests, but that's what it is. And it's also, when you go to trade shows and conferences and stuff, and in-house drills and training, all that stuff can count towards this, and that this person will be in charge of helping to make, verify that's what it meets the standard and getting all that information in. And then on the state requirement, once you've met that requirement, you have to have your paperwork in 60 days prior to your expiration date. We actually bump it up another 30 days?
Yeah, it's
20?
it's 45 to the
45 to
state,
60.
90 to us.
90, okay. So just to make sure that we don't have a lapse, we have, and miraculously, we worked through it on a couple times, but, we want to make sure that, all of our providers that put in the hundreds of hours in training to get there, stay there, and have an easy path to maintain that EMS service for the county.
What do we charge the fire departments?
It's $300
Per person?
and I believe it's $500 for paramedics, which is reimbursed to the department upon completion of the recertification process. So for the department, it's just a pass-through cost. So we charge that to them at a breakdown for like BLS providers, $100 per year increments. And then at the completion of it, they have all that money reimbursed to them from the state.
And the reason we do it through the department is the state won't reimburse an individual person, they'll reimburse the department for that person.
So at the end of the day, it truly is a wash for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer in my opinion.
I'll support it.
We're gonna give you a chance.
Just wanna make sure I'm on the record, I support this.
Sorry, it was, calm down, we're gonna vote.
I wanted to make sure I could say something, so I'm on the record.
Anything else? Anybody? Comments, concerns, quips?
It's great.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone that would like to support this, please say aye.
Aye.
Those non-supportive, say nay. Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll put this chair back now.
Okay, and thank you for that. We're all in favor of that. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the committee? If not, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. A second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
They got everything in it except for wings.
Lisa didn't wait 3 seconds.